Hi, I'm Ali, and I had the worst dream ever last night. I mean, it was proper scary. It was so scary. I'm up and I'm dressed and I'm still scared. What happened was, right, I write books about Ollie and his superpowers. Well, you'll all know about superpowers because you've got superpowers. Um, and in the books, Ollie's got this magic compass. You know, a compass that tells you where you're going. Well, this one's really magic, and you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere in the world, and you can go forward in time and backwards in time, and well, you can do anything. And in my dream, I imagined that I was playing with Ollie's compass, and I thought, well, I don't know where I want to go, so I went, "Tip." And when I opened my eyes, I was in a place called the Land of Boring. I know. And I looked around, and everything was grey. There was no colour anywhere. All the houses were grey, and they all looked the same. All of them. They all had the same doors. They all had the same number. How the postman ever worked out how to get anywhere, I don't know. And then I saw people, and all the people looked the same, and they were all grey, and they all had the same haircuts, and they all walked the same way, and there was nothing different about them. They were all like robots. It was a bit scary. There really was no colour anywhere. And I thought, oh, I'm not sure about this place, but I'm here and my brain's wired, so I want to understand things. I want to look at things. I want to know things. I'm neurodiverse, superpowered. So I went and had a walk round. And I saw some children, so I went up and said, hello, I'm Ali. Who are you? And they all said, well, all the boys said, my name's Peter. And I thought, what, all of you? And apparently all the boys' names were Peter. I mean, how confusing is that? And then I said to the girls, and what's your name? And they all said, Annabelle. I thought, that's going to be really hard if all the boys are called Peter and all the girls are called Annabelle. And all the houses have got the same number and they all look the same. I mean, and they're all dressed in grey. And they all look really miserable. And I said, wow, this is a strange country. Well, what do you do for fun? And they looked at me and said, what's fun? I know. I said, well, reading books. You've got to love a book. I like the adventure stories where you just don't know what's going to happen and you travel to different worlds, or maybe there's giants or monsters or witches, and Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. All the wizards. And they just looked at me and went, what's a book? What do you mean, what's a book? We don't know what books are. I thought, oh dear. I said, well, all right, you don't like books. What about dancing? I love dancing. Can anyone? I can't do the no. And they said, what's dancing? And I said, well, you put music on and you just dance. And they said, what's music? Like, oh, come on. But they really didn't know. I thought, what else do I like doing? Computer games. What about Minecraft? Love Minecraft. I mean, have you found the diamonds? It's really hard to find the diamonds. And they went, what's a computer game? What's Minecraft? Seriously? I said, what do you do? And they said, we walk up there, we turn round, and we walk back. That's it. I said, that's it? What about, do you like the cinema? Oh, I love the cinema. You know, when you can just sit and there's room for your popcorn and your Coke or whatever it is you like, and the big screen, some of the movies are so fantastic. And they just went, what's the cinema? I thought, well, this place is boring, isn't it? But, I kept trying. I said, well, okay, what about Christmas? I love Christmas. The surprise of not knowing what you're going to get. And yeah, they said, what's the surprise? What's Christmas? So I said, okay, holidays. You've got to love a holiday. What about a holiday? And they said, what's a holiday? I said, well, while you either get in the car and you go somewhere, or you get on an aeroplane and you... And they said, what's a car? What's an aeroplane? And then I heard someone say, Peter, Annabelle, and all the children walked off to different houses that were all the same, that were all the same colour curtains, everything in the windows, and the same numbers on the door. I don't know how they knew which one was theirs, because they all looked the same. And I was just stood there and I thought, what's going on here? This is a really boring place. But I thought, I'm hungry. So I wandered up the street and there were lots of shops, but they were all the same and they all sold the same thing, which wasn't very much, and it was all grey and not very nice. And I thought, I want a burger. Do you like burgers? I love burgers. And there was a shop that said burgers, and I thought, wait, this place is getting better. So I went in, and it wasn't like our burger shops, you know, bright red with big signs. It was just grey. And I said, can I have a burger with cheese and extra pickle, tomato sauce and relish? You know, they said, what's cheese? What's pickle? What's relish? So I got my compass out and I thought I'd better beam back. So I was just about to beam back when Mr. Wilcox appeared. If you don't know who Mr. Wilcox is, you might want to read the Ollie books. He kind of keeps an eye on Ollie and me, I think. And he said, oh, what are you doing here, Allie? And I said, right, I just went, doof, and I ended up here, but it's really boring. They don't have books. They don't have computer games. There's no colour. They don't know what music is. They don't go to the theatre. They don't go on holiday because they don't know what an aeroplane is. I don't even know what Christmas is or what a surprise is. I mean, And Mr. Wilcox said, there's a good reason for that. I said, what's the reason? I really don't like it. And he said, well, Allie, you come from a planet called Earth and you live in a country called England. And all the planets, all the countries on Earth have got people that are really, really special like you. I went, am I special? He went, yes, Allie, you're very special. I said, why am I special? And he said, well, you can't read and write because your brain's wired different to most people. I went, yeah, I know, and you know that's difficult because people like look at me odd or treat me differently. And he said, who do you think has the best brain for coming up with ideas to write books? I went, well, I don't know. And he said, do you think it's anyone here that's all the same? I went, no, they couldn't write a book. They're all boring. They don't do anything. They just do the same all the time. And Mr. Wilcox said, exactly, Allie. Because their brains are all wired the same. But because your brain's wired differently, you've got an imagination, which is a superpower. So you can write books and stories, which are really exciting and fun and full of colour and adventure. And I went, yeah, I do, don't I? And I really felt super. And in my imagination, all of a sudden, I had a cloak and I could fly. And I thought, wow, that's me using my imagination. All the people here in the land of boring haven't got an imagination. They're not wired like me. I felt quite sorry for them. And Mr. Wilcox said, I see you've had lunch. How was it? I said, it was really boring, just grey burgers and no relish. And he said, who do you think came up with the idea that you could do something different with a burger? And I said, I don't know, Mr. McDonald. Mr. Wilcox said, maybe. And maybe he could do that because his brain was wired a little bit different, so he came up with something different. Wow. And he said, who do you think thought that you could get an aeroplane that's made of metal and really heavy in the sky so you could go on holidays? And I said, I don't know who that was. Mr. Wilcox said, I bet that their brains were wired different because they'd have to be to come up with those clever ideas. Wow. And I thought, wow. So when I'm here with all these people that are all wired the same, I don't fit in because they're just all the same. So I need to go back to my world. And Mr. Wilcox said, yes, you need to go back to your world where lots of people are wired the same, but there's lots of people like you that are wired differently. Their brains work faster or slower than other people. They see things differently. They hear things differently. They're the ones that make the beautiful music, because when we're all hearing dum dum dum, they're in dum 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 dum. I started to dance. I like music. And he said, and the lovely thing is, here everybody thinks you're strange because you're the first one they've ever met that's wired a little bit different. And they're a little bit scared. But he said, I'll tell you what. He said, let's do some time travelling now. I thought, well, okay, I like Mr. Wilcox. Where are we going? Where are we going? Can we go back to the caveman days? I like that. Tyrannosaurus Rex. And he went, no, we're going to come back here, but in a month's time. Well, I don't want to come back here. Anyway, he pushed the button, whoop, and we were back. I looked around. I said, this isn't the land of boring. There's colours everywhere, and all the houses have got different numbers, and look, all the children are wearing different colour clothes. They're playing Minecraft. And he stopped me. He said, listen. And I listened, and there was music. Wow, really lovely music. They'd have dance. And children were reading books, and there was a big cinema, and I could see aeroplanes taking people on holiday. I went, are you sure this is the same place, Mr. Wilcox? He said, it is, but it's a better place. Because you came here, and because you're wired differently, you showed them things could be different and how amazing they could be. So he said, yeah, sometimes it's a bit hard when you are the only one that's wired differently. But he said, you really do have superpowers, because you can help everybody see things differently, hear things differently, feel things differently. And doesn't that make this place beautiful? I was really proud. So then we beamed back here, and I thought, I like that I'm wired differently. I really do have superpowers. But you know what? So do all of you. And you might not know it yet. You might not know how to use them yet. You might not know what wonderful things you're going to do. And maybe it's as simple as just getting somebody to notice something in a different way so it means even more to them. I don't know. But I do know that people like you and me that are wired differently, neurodiverse, we're the ones that can make the world wonderful. We're the ones that stop all the cities in the UK and the world being the land of boring. Guys, we really are superheroes. Yeah, we're different. But how cool's that? I quite like being different. And your neurodiversity, we're neurodiverse. That's a long word, isn't it? I think from now on we're going to call ourselves Neuro Super Powered!